Hi there, and welcome to The Daily Gardener, an almanac of garden history, literature, and small botanical joys. I'm Jennifer Ebeling, and today is February 27th. Late February has a particular restraint to it. The color is mostly gone. What remains are the outlines, paths, trunks, and the stone walls of our memories. This is the season where gardens and gardeners tell the truth about themselves. What was built to last is still standing. Here's today's garden history. It was on this day in 1787 that the American physician, botanist, and botanical illustrator Jacob Bigelow was born in Salisbury, Massachusetts. Jacob believed a garden should offer solace, not only in bloom, but in every season that strips a place down to its bones. Jacob was the visionary behind Mount Auburn Cemetery, founded in 1831, America's first garden cemetery. Winding paths, evergreens, stone architecture meant to harmonize with the land. In winter, Mount Auburn is honest. Nothing hides behind flowers. You see the structure. You feel the intention. Jacob was also a pioneering botanist. In 1814, Jacob published Florula bostoniensis, the first systemic catalog of New England plants, arguing that the most meaningful botany begins right where you live. Later, as a physician, Jacob articulated a radical idea. He believed many things were self-limited, that nature often knows how to resolve itself if only we allow it the time. That belief followed Jacob into the landscape. One of his final acts was designing a massive granite sphinx at Mount Auburn Cemetery. It was a Civil War memorial. He placed an American water lily at its base, a flower he could no longer see, but one he had cataloged decades earlier in the muddy wetlands of New England. By the time the monument was installed in 1872, Jacob's eyesight was nearly gone. He experienced the Sphinx not with vision, but with his hands. A garden built to endure, even when sight fades, even when winter comes. And it was on this day, in 1807, that the poet Henry Wadsworth Longfellow was born. Henry was a poet, but he was also a gardener of structure. At his Cambridge, Massachusetts home, he designed formal parterres edged in boxwood, lyre-shaped beds, symmetry he once described as a Persian rug spread across the lawn. These were gardens made for February. When the flowers were gone, the geometry remained. Henry understood that winter reveals design. It shows us whether a garden was thoughtfully built or merely dressed for summer. For Henry, the garden was a poem in two forms: the carefully composed lines of his boxwood beds and the wild, unwritten story of the weeds at the gate. Walking with the naturalist Louis Agassiz, he pointed out a roadside weed that was commonly referred to as the white man's foot, broadleaf plantain, Plantago major, a plant that appeared wherever settlers walked. A weed as a record, footsteps written in leaves. Henry taught us to look closely, even at what grows uninvited. In today's Unearthed Words, we hear an excerpt from the American poet Elizabeth Ellen Long, born on this day in 1908. Elizabeth was a lost poet of the mid-century writing from a small cabin in the California hills, sending her observations out like letters in a bottle to readers who, like her, found the most beauty in the quietest things. Elizabeth wrote for the quiet months, for the overlooked hours, for the garden when color is no longer the point. Here's Song of Gray Things by Elizabeth Ellen Long. In any weather, any day, much is lovely that is gray. Driftwood smooth to satin by the tide's cool fingers. Early sky. Lichen stars that lightly dapple stone walls around an apple orchard. Birch bark and the thin, warped rails of fences holding in reluctant meadows. Kitten's fur. Dried wild grasses, sweet as myrrh, as well as cobweb lace on eaves, sudden wind in willow leaves, and pigeons proudly marching down the slanted rooftops of a town. Elizabeth reminds us that February is not empty. It is refined. It's time to grow that garden library with today's book, Dream Gardens by Tanya Compton. This book is part of Planning and Design Week, a week of book recommendations devoted to imagining gardens before they're planted and to the ideas, drawings, and principles that shape great outdoor spaces. Dream Gardens was the winner of the Sunday Times Gardening Book of the Year back in 2007, and gardeners continue to love it because it balances beauty with real usefulness. Tanya's book features 100 modern and contemporary gardens, from minimalist city plots to expansive rural landscapes, making it a true sourcebook for many kinds of spaces. It also delivers practical plant knowledge. Each garden is fully captioned, identifying the plants used, so the designs aren't just admired, they can be translated into real gardens. Tanya explains the goals and decisions behind each landscape, helping gardeners understand how great gardens are structured, not just how they look. It's a perfect book for the end of February, these long winter days when the most important gardening happens in the imagination. And finally, here's something sweet to ignite the little botanic spark in your heart. It was on this day, February 27th in 1867, that New York City lost its oldest living thing, Peter Stuyvesant's pear tree, a European pear, Pyrus communis, planted around 1647. The tree was struck and fatally damaged when two horse-drawn carriages collided at the corner of 13th Street and 3rd Avenue. For more than 2 centuries, the tree had stood, surviving the city grid, surviving generations, bearing fruit long after the man who planted it was gone. After it fell, pieces of the trunk were preserved like relics. A cross-section still rests at the New York Historical Society. And the corner did not forget. New pear trees were planted, a reminder that even in the gray of February, gardens do not end. They are simply waiting for the next hand to tend them. They are handed forward. As we close the show today, remember, February is not asking for flowers. It's asking what will last. From Jacob Bigelow's Winter Garden of Stone, to Longfellow's Boxwood Geometry, to Elizabeth Ellen Long's Lichen Stars, and the long memory of a fallen pear tree, This day reminds us that a garden's soul lives in the things we cannot lose, in structure, in patience, and in quiet winter resilience. Thanks for listening to The Daily Gardener. And remember, for a happy, healthy life, garden every day.